Welcome to the Bare Metal Cyber Security Plus podcast. This series helps you prepare for the CompTIA Security Plus exam with focused explanations and practical context. For a companion study guide, check out the Achieve CompTIA Security Plus 701 Exam Success by Dr. Jason Edwards. It is the most concise and complete Security Plus guide on the market, built for busy professionals who want to pass the exam fast and on their first try. You can find this book and others at cyberauthor.me. Every system, device, and piece of data within an organization has a value, and with value comes responsibility. Knowing who owns what and how it is protected is at the heart of good cybersecurity governance. Yet, these foundational ideas are often overlooked. Without clearly defined ownership or appropriate classification, assets may be left unsecured, poorly managed, or misunderstood. In this episode, we look at two essential principles of asset governance. Ownership, understanding both, is key to protecting your organization's most valuable resource. We begin with asset ownership. In the context of cybersecurity, asset ownership is about assigning accountability for physical hardware, software applications, and digital data. It is not simply a matter of who uses an asset. It is about who is responsible for its life cycle, its security, and its compliance with organizational policy. Clearly defined ownership ensures that each asset has someone in charge of making decisions about access, configuration, patching, monitoring, and disposal. For example, consider a server that hosts customer data. Without a designated owner, it may go unpatched, unmonitored, or misconfigured. But if that server is assigned to a specific owner, such as the head of the customer service department, then someone is accountable for ensuring it is properly secured and maintained. Ownership creates a clear line of responsibility. It reduces confusion during incidents and ensures that someone is always watching over each asset. There are different types of asset owners. A data owner is typically responsible for determining who can access specific information and how it should be protected. A system owner might oversee a server or application, making decisions about updates, configuration, and user access. In some organizations, these roles are formalized through policy. In others, they are part of job responsibilities defined during onboarding or project assignments. Regardless of how it is implemented, asset ownership should be visible, documented, and maintained as part of the organization's asset inventory. An effective ownership model often includes multiple roles. For example, a cloud-based collaboration platform may have an executive owner who defines strategic goals, a technical owner who manages system updates, and a compliance owner who ensures that usage aligns with privacy laws. These roles work together to secure the platform across technical, business, and legal dimensions. This layered ownership model helps manage complex assets and aligns responsibility with expertise. Another good example is in university settings. Each department may have its own set of computers, printers, and data repositories. Rather than relying on central IT to manage everything, department heads are designated as asset owners. They work with IT for support, but remain responsible for ensuring proper usage, approving access requests, and conducting periodic reviews. This model decentralizes control but reinforces accountability. Each unit manages its own risks under a shared framework. Now let's turn to asset classification. While ownership defines who is responsible, classification determines how assets should be protected. Classification is the process of assigning labels to assets based on their sensitivity, value, or impact. These labels, such as public, confidential, or critical, help guide security decisions and ensure that resources are allocated appropriately. Without classification, organizations may either underprotect valuable assets or waste resources on low-risk items. Proper classification begins with identifying what the asset is and what risks it presents. For example, a marketing brochure intended for public distribution might be classified as public. In contrast, a database containing employee social security numbers would be classified as confidential or even restricted. The classification label tells system administrators, security teams, and users how to handle the asset, whether it needs encryption, limited access, special backups, or compliance reporting. One of the most important aspects of classification is aligning it with legal and regulatory requirements. Personally identifiable information, financial records, and health data all come with legal obligations. Misclassifying these assets as low risk can lead to fines, lawsuits, or reputational damage. Classification frameworks often include multiple levels, such as public, internal, confidential, and critical. Each level comes with its own set of handling procedures and technical controls. Let's look at a real-world example. A global company uses a document classification system where all files must be labeled by the author. A project roadmap might be marked as internal use only. A spreadsheet containing customer payment data would be labeled as confidential and stored in an encrypted folder. Only authorized users with proper training and clearance can access it. By using labels and automation, the system ensures that sensitive data is always treated with the level of protection it deserves. Another scenario involves physical devices. A company laptop assigned to a senior executive might be classified as critical because it contains access to email, financial tools, and sensitive business plans. As a result, the laptop is configured with full disk encryption, remote wipe capabilities, and stricter patching timelines. A tablet used in the reception area to check visitor appointments may be classified as internal and protected with more basic control. Classification informs how each asset is secured, monitored, and supported throughout its life cycle. When classification is done correctly, it enables smarter decision-making. Security teams can prioritize patching based on asset criticality. Incident responders can focus on high-value systems during a breach. Compliance officers can ensure that the most sensitive data meets legal standards. Classification is not just a labeling exercise. It is an operational tool that enhances risk management, resource allocation, and policy enforcement. However, classification must be kept up to date. Assets can change roles, users, or contents over time. A development server might later host production data. A public data set might become sensitive due to new regulations. Organizations must regularly review classifications and update them as needed. Classification should be part of onboarding, offboarding, project planning, and auditing. Automating some parts of this process, such as using data discovery tools or tagging based on content, can help scale classification across large environments. To summarize, assignment, ownership, and classification are foundational practices in cybersecurity. Ownership defines who is responsible for each asset, ensuring that someone is accountable for security, maintenance, and compliance. Classification defines how those assets should be protected, guiding decisions about access, encryption, and monitoring. Both practices work best when they are clearly documented, regularly reviewed, and supported by policy and automation. Together, they enable organizations to manage their assets intelligently and reduce risk across the board. When preparing for the Security Plus exam, expect to see questions about roles like data owner and system custodian. You may be asked to identify which classification level applies to a given asset or how classification affects access control decisions. Pay attention to scenarios involving misclassified data, unassigned assets, or violations of ownership policy. Understanding these core governance concepts is essential for both exam success and real-world cybersecurity practice. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Bare Metal Cybersecurity Plus podcast. For more episodes, tools, and study support, visit us at baremetalcyber.com. And before you take the test, make sure to check out the practice questions in the book Achieve CompTIA Security Plus SY0-701 Exam Success by Dr. Jason Edwards. They cover every domain and are a powerful way to lock in your knowledge.